With New Year's resolutions, many of us will make a vow to eat healthier, and that's a good thing. But what about our beloved pets and their nutrition? Greetings, Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black here, and I'm on a mission to provide better nutrition for cats and dogs because truthfully, all pet food is dead food, which is why we created Rough Greens and Meow Greens in the first place. We bring their food back to life with live vitamins, minerals, probiotics, enzymes, omega oils, antioxidants, and so much more. All in a tasty formula that your dog and cat will love. You can improve your pet's coat, digestion, energy, and have less vet bills. Let 2025 bring a new year and a new pet. Get a Jumpstart trial bag, normally $20. Get a 100% discount with promo code BESTFRIEND. You discover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com, use promo code BESTFRIEND. Bring your pet's food back to life with Rough Greens. So good, your pet will ask for it by name.
And boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Oh boy! Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
Stop!
This is a football family, and this team is a football family, and Coach Tice is the head of the family.
This is a very important game for our football program, our football family.
Yeah, yeah.
Straight up. Cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, 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 cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out. Quack, quack.
Капризов.
You just have to draw your own conclusions, people.
We're happy for you.
Thank you.
That sounds like a heck of a radio show. I might want to listen.
Until you've hunted man, you haven't hunted yet.
Is wearing women's underwear part of your journey?
Yeah, baby.
You find this funny, Mr. Groh? You're smiling. Do you find this humorous? No, they're not. Do you find this humorous, Mr. Groh? You're laughing and smiling. I'm just wondering if you do. You didn't answer my question, Mr. Groh. Do you find this humorous?
No, I find it keeping a 4 years ago.
At least you're not smiling and laughing now. Oh, I guess you're back at it again.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
I mean, it's been done before, Tennessee. Teams have done sign and trades. There was a lot of interest in Kevin O'Connell, apparently, by a lot of other teams. That's where the reports, the breathless reports of a couple of weeks ago, is that there were teams that would be willing to trade multiple draft picks to have Kevin O'Connell coach their team to a 14-3 record and a first-round blowout in the National Football League playoffs. A lot of teams wanted to do it. Because I think I saw that the Vikings and, the Wilf family and those involved assigned a Viking head coach Kevin O'Connell to a contract extension. That is correct?
That is correct.
The last I looked, and I haven't checked in a while.
Do we need one of these?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Kevin O'Connell.
we got him.
Very good. Yeah. Well done. Well done, young man. Welcome back to the spotlight. I didn't take a look in a while. I know when I saw the original story said terms not disclosed. You always hear that with almost any contract that's signed. Terms are not disclosed. Have terms been disclosed yet? Is anybody guessing?
I haven't seen money, and I haven't even. They've said multi-year, but not the exact amount of years.
Andy Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs, Sean Payton of the Denver Broncos, Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jim Harbaugh of the Los Angeles Chargers, Sean McVay of the LA Rams, and Kyle Shanahan of the 49ers are at the top. They're amongst the top 10 highest paid American sports coaches. That includes everybody. This was from earlier this year. This story is, it's not old, but it was from late November of last year, so a couple of months old now. According to Sportico, they're a specialist in sports industry data. This list includes the most recent contracts for each coach, excluding potential performance-based incentives. So again, this is just here's the base salary on your contract, and some of them might have, hey, if you win a Lombardo, you get this. If you're coach of the year, you get that. Whatever the case may be. Andy Reid's annual income is, do you know what, Tenneby? What's your guess? Do you know what it is? And if you don't, take a guess on what he's the highest paid coach in American sports.
American sports?
In American sports. That's what I was saying. This top 10 list includes American sports, and he's number one on that list. And most of, as you said, I think it was 6 coaches there, so most of them are NFL head coaches.
I feel like it's going to be in the $12 to $20 million range.
You're right. You go to the high end. He is making $20 million a year. Andy Reid makes $20 million a year. Widely regarded as the best active head coach, and I believe that he is. Reid is the only NFL, other than Dan Campbell. I just wanted to say that because it annoys Viking fans and Packer fans to think that I'm head over heels in love with Dan Campbell. He's got some issues. Reid is the only NFL coach to have won 100 games with 2 different franchises. Chiefs and before that, the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a hell of an accomplishment. And if you're going to do some idolizing and pedestalizing today, we'll do a little bit. Why not? Everybody else does. That's pretty impressive. 100 victories with 2 different teams. Broncos coach Sean Payton, who claimed the Lombardo Trophy with the Saints at Super Bowl XLIV. He follows closely at $18 million annually. Third and fourth spots are occupied by NBA coaches. Who do you think those 2 coaches are? You'll be able to guess these, I would think.
Steve Kerr.
That's correct. He is next on the list at 17.5.
And Pop?
And Pop at 17. Well done, Tim. You know, they say you belong to the hockey community.
I'm a great basketball mind.
Well, yeah, just you hate basketball, don't pay attention to it, and that anytime something bad happens to the Wolves, you are rubbing your little grubby, dirty hockey gloves together with glee, and you're not. You like Minnesota sports, all Minnesota sports. Tied for 5th place are 2 National Football League coaches at 16. By the way, Pop is $500,000 behind Kerr at 17. Tied for 5th place are 2 football coaches that I've mentioned already at $16 million. That would be Mike Tomlin and Jim Harbaugh. They are tied at $16 million apiece.
He's making more than his brother John, even though John's been coaching forever.
That's what I was going to say. And is his son John? My son John went to bed with the stockings on. And John won a big game, right?
Yes.
He beat his brother.
He did.
In the big game. Positions 7 through 9 each command $15 million. Doesn't say what it says who the 10th is, but it doesn't say what he makes. It says positions 7 through 9 each command $15 million. Who do you think they are, Timmy? They are 2 basketball coaches and 1 football coach. 7 through 9.
Have you already gotten to Shanahan for football?
He's at the bottom. He's at 10.
Okay.
And it doesn't say what he makes, but it's obviously under $15 million. But it doesn't give his payday. It just says rounding out the top 10 is Kyle Shanahan, who coaches the Niners. So right above him, all tied at $15 million, are 2 basketball coaches and 1 NBA coach.
You just said 2 basketball and 1 NBA.
I'm sorry, and 1 NFL.
You're really going to start testing me with the basketball coaches after Kerr and Pop. It gets a little challenging for me. Who's coaching Boston?
No.
It's not Doc Rivers.
It's not. It's Eric Spoelstra.
Oh, yeah, Miami.
And Tyronn Lue of the LA Clippers. And
has he been a coach worthy of that amount of money?
I don't know. I'm not paying as close attention to the NBA in general, and specifically, I don't pay attention to LA Clipper basketball at all. I didn't even know they were in Los Angeles. I think they play at the Fabulous Forum, too.
The other NFL coach, is it LaFleur?
Mm-mm. He's won a big game. He always wears those really tight.
Oh, McVay.
Yeah, McVay.
Yeah.
McVay wants to show everybody, I work out. That's why he does that, right?
Sure.
I mean, you could wear something a little looser and more comfortable. It's like
Belichick does.
Right. I want people to know I work out. I could be playing right now if I really wanted to. Matter of fact, if we need somebody, because somebody's on injured reserve, I could sign a 10-day like they do in the NBA and play. I could come in on a Wednesday. I could come into the building. I love that they always call it the building. Come into the building, go to a specific room, and be ready to play. So with those prices from $20 million for Andy Reid, and then 18 for Peyton, and then on down the line down to 15 million for 7, 8, 9. And again, it doesn't say what Shanahan's making, but I'm assuming if he's under 15, he's probably 14 or 14.5, right? What do you think? Do you think KOC jumps into the top 10? I mean, he's not going to get over what Shanahan's making, or maybe he will. I don't know.
How much did you say McVay's making?
Well, McVay's making 15, and they don't mention what Shanahan's making.
So I think there's some egos involved in the NFL. Like Jamar Chase wants to make 1 penny more than Justin Jefferson when he goes to get his deal, that kind of thing.
Right.
I think KOC wants to make more than Shane. He knows how much Sean McVay makes and is going to make sure that his contract is more than Sean McVay's. So I'm going to say he's slightly more than Sean McVay.
So McVay's at 15, he's 15.5.
15.5.
Yeah, 15.5.
Yep.
I think you're going to be spot on, and it's going to be I think it's probably a 4-year deal. Might be 5. I don't think it'll be just 3.
I think it's 4 minimum.
Yeah, 4 minimum.
Yeah.
I think probably a 5-year deal for him. And yes, I am well aware that List Radio is lazy radio, and I'm the king of lazy radio. I love List Radio. That killed a segment. But Kevin O'Connell in the fold. No word on Kwesi yet, right? Because he's also...
Other than apparently they're negotiating.
They are negotiating with him as we speak. Well, let's do this. Let's and someone...
He should get bonuses tied to draft pick selections. That's how you do it if you're negotiating a contract.
He won't be able to make his mortgage payment if that's the case. Hey-oh! You know what? He went ahead and he was the one that drafted Jordan Addison. There's some sleepers. He's going to be really, really good. He's a great general manager. Ben Johnson, someone says they heard Johnson got $13 million as a first-time head coach. That's a lot of money.
Ben Johnson?
That's what. Well, somebody just said I heard.
The football.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the Gopher basketball coach.
No.
That's bonkers.
And he signed with the Bears. Also, Schefter is reporting, and so am I, Timmy. I can confirm what Schefter's reporting that Aaron Glenn will be the next head coach.
I can echo that.
Of the New York Jets. Right now, we got a keyword.
Yeah, the fan wants to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword credit at KFAN.com now for a shot to win. The keyword is credit. Enter now at KFAN.com.
With New Year's resolutions, many of us will make a vow to eat healthier, and that's a good thing. But what about our beloved pets and their nutrition? Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black here, and I'm on a mission to provide better nutrition for cats and dogs because truthfully, all pet food is dead food, which is why we created Rough Greens and Meow Greens in the first place. We bring their food back to life with live vitamins, minerals, probiotics, enzymes, omega oils, antioxidants, and so much more. All in a tasty formula that your dog and cat will love. You can improve your pet's coat, digestion, energy, and have less vet bills. Let 2025 bring a new year and a new pet. Get a Jumpstart trial bag, normally $20. Get a 100% discount with promo code BESTFRIEND. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com, use promo code BESTFRIEND. Bring your pet's food back to life with Rough Greens. So good, your pet will ask for it by name.
The Minneapolis Home and Remodeling Show is back at U.S. Bank Stadium January 31st through February 2nd. Head over to our contest page at KFAN.com. Keyword contest for your chance to win tickets. You can see Craig Conover from Southern Charm, The Laundry Guy, and so much more. Head to MinneapolisHomeRemodelingShow.com for the full event info.
I'm Common East Tennessee. The legendary Mark Rosen will be joining us just before 2 o'clock for a little Distat Lat. Emphasis on the lat. Maybe one of these days we'll do emphasis on the dis. You just never do know. I do know this. We have 3 giveaways today, 3 delightful giveaways that, remember, this coming Thursday, it's Minnesota Wild's Faith and Family Night. They're playing Utah. We'll give away a couple tickets for that. There's a pregame event that you'll be invited to with Minnesota Wild chaplain Bill Butters, Wild alumni Ryan Carter, and former Gopher Jake Taylor, as well as the game tickets. So that'll be a little bit later. Also, Don Felder, formerly of the Eagles. He's a solo act now. He'll be at TI this Friday. We'll give away a pair of tickets for that show. He'll play a lot of the Eagles hits and some of his own solo stuff. And then 5 Iron Golf. I'm the official unofficial ambassador of Minnesota Golf. We formed a partnership with the folks at 5 Iron Golf, and we'll be giving away a $100 gift card later today, so you can enjoy your visit to 5 Iron Golf. Time now, Tennessee, for Peek at the Purple, brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. They will not start any project at your home, any repair, till they give you an estimate. And they're your old home specialist. Remember that same-day service or 24-hour service. And as always, affordable-electric.com is the way to get a hold of them. Affordable Electric is shockingly affordable. The headline from, I think this is an MSN story. They picked up on it. I think it features the Paul Allen project, though.
Really?
Yeah, it says Vikings appear to be leaning one way with Sam Darnold decision, despite leading the Vikings to a 14-win season for the first time since the turn of the century. That makes it sound like it's really long. This in the past 25 years when it's turn of the century. You start thinking about, well, Tennessee, wasn't it about the turn of the century that they were building the pyramids in Egypt? I think it was about the turn of the century. Quarterback Sam Darnold set to become an unrestricted free agent this offseason. Appearing on The Fan, NFL insider Tom Pelissero, he was on with the Paul Allen Project apparently yesterday. Can you confirm or deny that, Tennessee? I think he was.
I think he appears weekly.
Yeah. Appearing on The Fan, NFL insider Tom Pelissero asserted that the smart money would be on Darnold returning to the Vikings in 2025, most likely under a franchise tag designation.
Oh my gosh. Above average at that.
Pelissero explained that Darnold struggles in Week 18 in the wild card. That's putting it mildly, by the way. Sorry about that. Pelissero explained that Darnold struggles in Week 18 in the wild card weekend loss to the Los Angeles Rams might even make it easier for the Vikings to sign him to a long-term deal if the market for his services dries up because of it. Here's what he said to PA. I would still say the smart money would be Sam being back in Minnesota. And if anything, what happened in those last 2 games might make it simpler to get him back. But Pelissero conceded that question of Darnold's future with the Vikings may ultimately come down to whether they can simply get a deal done before free agency. This is what he added. The question is, can he get a deal done? And if you can't, do you use the tag or do you say, go ahead, see what the market is? We're probably going to get this deal done because this is the best place for you. I trust Pelissero. He's very plugged in, right? I don't think there's any question about that. And so he might be spot on. I had just, and this is just my gut, which is now full. I just had lunch. I had my wife, I finished off the last of the sweet potato black bean stew. You don't like sweet potatoes, do you? Or do you?
I wouldn't say like, but I don't dislike. They're in that meh.
Do you like black beans?
If I have sweet potatoes, I need some little, like the marshmallows.
Okay.
I had some black beans last night, but it's got to be mixed with other stuff.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you think pickle juice on your hamburger bun is icky?
Yes.
Have you ever even tasted a dill pickle before?
Yes.
You have. And did you hate it? Dislike it? Is it just the juice?
Pickle's one of my least favorite tastes.
Because the reason I asked is...
the amount of times it was on your burger growing up and you didn't know it was on the burger, and then you take a bite and it's disgusting.
Because it's
yucky.
The only reason I ask is my wife found... She did a recipe for barbecue chicken, and what I do now with barbecue chicken or barbecue pork is I throw coleslaw on it. You probably don't like coleslaw, but I throw coleslaw on it. And and then sometimes I'll put on dill pickle wedges. But this woman suggested dill pickle potato chips. So that's why I was asking, because potato chips have no yucky dill pickle juice emanating from them. So I thought, hey, if you like, this would be your salvation. You like the taste of dill pickles, but you don't like the juice touching your bun. You could have dill pickle potato chips, but apparently you don't like the taste of dill pickles.
It's not the texture of the juice; it's the flavor.
Okay, all right. I was thinking about
I would not eat dill pickled chips when there's literally hundreds of other options that I know I like.
I was thinking about you while I was eating that.
Sorry about that.
Because I was going, I wonder if this would be a I'm always looking out for you, Tim. I'm trying to improve your life. Now that wouldn't necessarily improve your life, but I thought it would. But I thought for sure after that they were going in another direction. And part of it is because, and maybe I'm all wrong about KOC. Maybe he doesn't have an ego that's as big as my prostate. It's that quarterback whisperer stuff. It was even bounced off of him at news conferences late in the year. And he didn't shy away from saying, let's just stop with the quarterback whisperer stuff. I mean, Sam's a really good player. Yeah, we work hand in hand. I think I got some good ideas, but let's not do this. And of course he didn't call himself a quarterback whisperer as well. But I mean, if you looked at those leading up to those last two games, remember the Green Bay win? Triumphantly on the shoulders of his teammates inside the locker room after the Green Bay win. He had helped win us. It's a team effort. 9 wins in a row. And after those 2 mediocre games, that they won both those games, but then they rattled off win after win after win. He was really good. Then he has the really bad game against Detroit. Not much better against the Rams, though I think the Rams had a lot to do with that as well in the offensive line. But do they? That's why I was under the impression they would say, Sam, appreciate all you've done for us. We want to go forward with McCarthy, and even if we don't, I can do the same thing with Danny Dimes that I did with Sam Darnold. And I think some people would say Danny Dimes, because of his size and his ability to run, which running quarterbacks are doing nowadays, he might be a better project for a quarterback whisperer. And so maybe that is the direction they're thinking of going.
It would be kind of amusing that if Darnold goes elsewhere, the 2 best Viking seasons in the last 15 years, we've moved on from the quarterback immediately the next season.
That's it. And it could
Case Keenum and now Sam Darnold.
It could very well happen. We'll break. We'll come back. We'll continue the discussion. Other side of the break. Wild Today with Tenna.
Yeah, this is Wild Today brought to you by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. Some good news for the Minnesota Wild at practice today. Both Kirill Kaprizov and Jared Spurgeon were on the ice. Kaprizov was slotted on a line with Marco Rossi and Matt Zuccarello. Head coach John Hines said he is, quote, cautiously optimistic that both Kaprizov and Spurgeon will play tomorrow night. The other injured guys, Jonas Brodin and Marcus Johansson, they did not practice today. Wild are back in action tomorrow night, hopefully with Kaprizov and Spurgeon in the lineup when they host the Utah Hockey Club. That was Wild Today, brought to you by Jim Beam, a crowd pleaser since 1795. Grand in Your Hand is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. That's every hour from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. To enter the keywords and learn more, head to KFAN.com.
Barry Manilow. Couple 13-14 pass, fast-paced action pass, controversial Common Man program. Here's a controversial.
That's interesting.
Yes. Wait till you hear it. Text message just came in, the KFAN text line, Bradshaw and Bryant, KFAN text line at 64686. Says the perfect pulled pork sandwich is bun, pulled pork, French fried onions, pickles, and a little drizzle of barbecue sauce. That's fine. To each his own. I think you got to have a coleslaw on it. That's the way they do it down south. You have to have coleslaw on top of it. And a lot of people don't do it that way, and a lot of people do. I never did it that way until I went to a restaurant. I think it might have been Southern Social. And they plopped on some coleslaw. It's out of this world. I don't need the French fried onions. That's okay. I like French fried onions.
You'll be eating through the grill.
Yeah, you'll be eating right through the grill. Plus, I'm now getting to the point where I'm trying to eat less bread. I started working out again, Tennessee. Not 5:15 or 5:15. Let's not get carried away. But I hit the cross trainer the last few mornings, doing 30 minutes hard cardio. Wow. And I've got one of those universal weight machines down in my down in the Man Grotto, a room just off the Man Grotto. It's been used for years as a place to hang clothes that you're not supposed to put in the dryer. Not a universal weight machine. It hasn't got a matter of fact. You familiar with the movie The Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
Remember when Dorothy and the Scarecrow run across the Tin Man? And he's been out in the rain, and she's got to take oil and lube him up to get him to be able to move and stuff again. I got to oil up some of those parts on the universal
more
weight machine.
Rust than rest.
Yeah, there's more rust than rest on that. But and it's all because Tennessee, it's the first day of the rest of my life. I'm not getting any younger. I'm taking after Mark Rosen, is what I'm trying to do. He was doing all those works with the remember when he was coming in here every day working out with the Fitness King, and he'd have his workout gear on? He'd have his tracksuit on. I haven't seen him wearing that in a long time.
Feeling better now than at 45?
Well, yeah. And so I want to do that too. I want to feel better at 66 than I did at 26. So we'll see if we'll be able to do that. Also, here's a text message that says, Common, what's your take on the Kitties losing all of their coordinators and position coaches in the process of losing Johnson and Glenn to head coaching positions? Do you see a regression for the Lions due to a lack of coaching talent on the roster?
Oh my gosh.
I looked at their schedule. I don't know the order of games, but I don't find a loss on their schedule next year, so I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. I mean, that remains to be seen. I mean, I don't think you can underestimate or diminish what an offensive or a defensive coordinator can mean to a team. But, Tennessee, I think you and I both agree, still players play, coaches coach, and if you have really good talent, like if the next, I would hope the next offensive coordinator, whoever that might be their quarterback's coach. A lot of these teams like to use someone that's already been in the system because, I mean, with the Lions offense for the most part, other than Goff being off like he was the other night, I wouldn't change much of what they're trying to do, right? Okay, Dave, why don't we do a little Sonic and Knuckles? Why don't we try to hit Saint? They just call him Saint on the Vikings, by the way. It's just, or the Lions, it's just Saint. Get the ball to Saint. The Jameson Williams kid, Laporte. I mean, I would try to do the same things offensively that you've been doing. Sometimes new offensive coordinators, I got to put my signature on. Sometimes, no, it ain't broke right now. Don't fix it. So, but yes, I guess if you're going to take, I mean, how many head coaches have been hired now? Are those the first two, or was somebody else that I'm missing get hired in this coaching cycle? Are those the first two hires?
I'm trying to remember.
It seems like I could have missed something along the way. But my point is, when you lose two guys, there's certainly two of the first. It depends who takes their place. And then every team is going to have turnover on their rosters, right?
New England hired Mike Vrabel.
Okay, that's right. So,
well, and I feel like people are now diminishing Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
As if he's not like an X's and O's guy, which is possible. But could you also, if you want to play the other game, you want to say, well, is he maybe really good at identifying coordinators? Because he brought two darn good guys that have now gotten hired elsewhere.
Correct.
So maybe he's good at identifying coordinators, or he's also created a culture and created, at least from a talent standpoint, where coordinators are going to want to go there, right? If you want to be an offensive coordinator in this league, wouldn't Detroit be a pretty darn good destination right now? So you're more likely to get a better hire there just based off of the personnel you have.
Yeah, it was the reason Johnson stayed an extra year. I just heard, too, remember we talked yesterday about Johnson could have had the Jags job, or he could have had the Bears, and he took the Bears, and a lot of people wondering what's wrong with the Jags. It's an easier division. Plus, that was where Ben Johnson, he and his wife are both from that part of the country. You got Trevor Lawrence. Apparently, I just saw a story on my feed. The Tampa Bay offensive coordinator, I think his name is it Cohen? The story, I just read the first couple of paragraphs. It said the job was his to lose, or if he wanted it, he could have it. He decided to stay. He didn't want to go to Jacksonville either. He stayed in Tampa Bay for a big raise as an offense, and he's going to stay as an offensive coordinator. So, and again, I think it's maybe part of what Johnson did. It's last year, Johnson is probably looking and going, I really don't like any of the situations, so that Washington job would have been nice, but I don't know if they had a new coach at the beginning of the year. That's one of the best stories is the guy that, the Washington owner, this is his first year owning the team.
It's already better than Dan Snyder.
Yeah, Dan Snyder. And I think we kind of know about Snyder's. It was a sordid organization allegedly, right? Just wasn't good, and I think he even had some legal problems and such. So he sold the team, and in the first year he sells it, the new owner's going, it's pretty nice. I don't even know the guy's name, but I saw him on the sideline after toward the end of the game when they beat the Kitties, and I'm thinking to myself, he just bought the club and he's already in the NFC title tilt. And what if they win? And I think they have a very good chance to upend Philadelphia. They beat Philadelphia first year in ownership. I mean, think about if they won the whole thing. Where do you go from there at that point? It's like, well, I can't really do any better than I did. Maybe I'll sell the team again. Now maybe I'll sell it for double what I bought it for. But yeah, he's in a.
Well, after they win the big game, if they do, that's when the new owner goes, I'd like a new stadium here. That would be nice.
That's exactly right.
This one's kind of run down.
Yeah, we're not really that high on RFK anymore. We might have to go in another direction. More controversy, Tennessee. Mitch from South St. Paul, you 1,000% have to eat a pulled meat sandwich with coleslaw. There's no other option. I'm from Texas, and you'd be thrown out in 86th if you dare take the coleslaw off down in Texas. I've only ever had pulled pork sandwiches with slaw. Have to have the slaw. Here's one. Coleslaw is okay on a barbecue sandwich only if it's from KFC, the sweet coleslaw. Yeah, I like KFC's coleslaw, but it's a bit overrated. You can make a really good coleslaw at home with, you just buy a bag of slaw that's already chopped, and then it's, was it Rudolph's?
Rudolph's?
I think Rudolph's still sells a coleslaw. There's some jarred coleslaw dressing that's out of this world. Now, it's loaded with sugar. That's what makes it good. Like most barbecue sauces, the ones that most people like are the ones that are loaded with sugar. I like a little bite to mine. I don't need one of those heavy sugar ones. I like my barbecue sauce to have just a bit. I'm not that steaming hot. You know the people that they want everything as hot as it can because they want, I'm a tough guy. Can't be too hot for me. I love my stuff hot. No, you really don't like it. You can't. You're pouring sweat. Every time you take a bite, you're guzzling a half a gallon of water. Don't tell me you really like it. You just want people to think you like us. Look at how tough he is, man. He eats really hot food. Boy, what a stomach. He's got a cast iron stomach. He's a bigger man than me. And I say, no, it's like, yeah,
I have no problems acknowledging I'm a small man when it comes to
You
that
are
stuff.
small,
Yeah,
man.
I don't want spicy food.
You are a small little man. At the beginning of the Grum, let me go back. Let me dial this back and let's see if I can find. What time did we start today? It was at 1, right? So this came in right at the beginning of the show. Here it is. This one says, comment, maybe you've talked about it already, but am I misremembering? Didn't Lavelle E. Neal III leave off a prominent baseball player from his Hall of Fame ballot? Was it Griffey? And he was one of 3 out of like 400 plus people that didn't vote him in. Would be an amazing segment if you gave him grief as possibly the one person who didn't vote for
Ichiro.
We didn't talk about Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame this year. Usually it's every year it comes up. I like to go on my little rant about steroid users. And then the one that the other topic when it comes to Hall of Fame voting, particularly in baseball, is the idea there are some voters out there that think they are, guardians of the Hall. And it's like it's their duty that they've been anointed king of the Hall of Fame, and no one gets to the Hall except through me. Much like nobody gets to the Father except through the Savior. Nobody gets to the Hall of Fame without going through me. And so, and some of these people have this, well, nobody is good enough to be a first ballot unanimous, right? There are people that the reason they don't vote is they don't think anybody is deserving of first ballot unanimous. There have been a handful. I think the most recent was, who was the great reliever for the Yankees?
Mariano Rivera.
Didn't Rivera get in first ballot unanimous? I'm almost certain he did.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he didn't.
But I wouldn't be shocked because of what many of these writers do, where they just won't vote for a guy. There will be people that will defend those voters and say, well, it's their vote. They can do what they want with it. And you're right. But I think some of them do it because they want to make it more about them. Because how many guys do you see run to the media? They're media members, but they run to other media members and say, I bet you want to know what my thinking was on my Hall of Fame ballot, don't you? No, I really don't want to know, but I'm going to tell you anyways. Because they love that. Now they're getting their moment in the sun. I'm the king of the Hall of Fame. I'm one of the few people that get to vote for the Hall of Fame. And here's why I did it. Now, if I remember correctly, what Lavelle did, that was Pedro Martinez.
Yes.
And it was when Martinez had one of the greatest seasons in the history of Major League Baseball as a starting pitcher. He was pitching for the Red Sox, right? And he was simply brilliant. He was like, he won like 68 games and didn't lose one. His ERA, they didn't even have one. It was 0.00. It was just, I'm exaggerating, but it was astonishing. And he was going to win the Cy Young without question. Lavelle, I think, was the only person. I think Lavelle kind of wears it as a badge of pride now, badge of honor. And his, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to put words in, actually I do. I like putting words in people's mouths. I think Lavelle's explanation was, well, pitchers already have an award. They already have the Cy Young Award. So why should they also have the MVP? That explanation, I can nod my head and go, yeah, I guess you do bring up a good point, but it's not, for me, good enough to say in no situation, in any way, shape, or form, should a pitcher who has a really outstanding year, if he's going to win the Cy Young, that's enough for him. He can't win the MVP. I don't believe that. I think if you're really exceptional, I think Denny McClain in 1968, When was it they only had one Cy Young Award? There used to be a long time ago. I think that may have stopped in 1968 or 69. There used to be just one Cy Young Award winner, if I'm not mistaken. I could be misremembering myself. I think Denny McClain, when he won 31 games, the last pitcher, and no one will ever win 30 games again in Major League Baseball. They just don't let pitchers go deep enough into games, as you know. He was the last pitcher in 1968 to win 30 games. He won 31. I think he won the MVP and the Cy Young Award that year for the Tigers. I'm almost certain of that. So it's been done before. I don't know how many times, but I think there have been a handful of Major League Baseball pitchers that have won both. Do you think, Teneby, do you agree?
Well, I was just reading through so Lavelle wrote a story about this, the entire Martinez story back in November, because it was the 25-year anniversary of the vote. So yeah, that year Pedro went 23-4 with a 2.07 ERA, and two people left him completely off the ballots. And one would be Lavelle E. Neal. The other would be George King of the New York Post.
Well, because George knows ball. He's a ball guy. It's probably pre-Boomer even.
He said, as I filled out the ballot that year, I kept moving Martinez down my list because he was a pitcher. That led to the conclusion that he shouldn't be on the ballot at all if I'm deducting points because of that.
Yeah.
And I remember him I think he was on the Fan talking about it afterwards and basically explained like Martinez came up and started ribbing him the next time you saw him because Martinez lost money because of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you get the MVP, you get bonus in your contracts. I'm sure there's future things down the road you're going to get money for.
Can you Google real quick how many pitchers have won both the MVP and Cy Young in the same year? Because I know it's been done. I'm almost certain McClain did. Bob Gibson may have done it as well. Maybe Gibson did it in 68 because he didn't win 30, but he won 20 plus, and his ERA was 1.12. There's that stretch he had. I don't remember it now. We've talked about it before the last couple of years, where he had a stretch where he had like a 10-game stretch where he pitched complete games in every single one, and he only gave up 3 runs in the 10 games. Something just incredible. Just where you go, how can anybody be that good at tossing the horsehide? A guy can spin it.
11 pitchers have won MVP. Walter Johnson in 1913.
Rosen remembers that one.
Walter Johnson again in 1924. Dazzy Vance.
In
1924.
His brother was Dizzy.
Lefty Grove in 1931. Carl Hubble in 1933. Dizzy Dean in 1934. Carl Hubble again in 1936. Bucky Walters, 1939. Mort Cooper, 1942.
Mort. I remember Mort.
Spud Chandler, 1943. Hal Newhouser in 1944.
Pitched for the Tigers.
Newhouser did it again in 45. Jim Constantine, 1950. Bobby Shantz in 1952. Don Newcomb, 1956.
Big Don Newcomb.
Sandy Koufax, 1963. I feel like this is more than 11 now. Bob Gibson, 1968. Denny McClain, 1968.
Yeah, so both of them.
Vita Blue, 1971. Raleigh Fingers, 1981. Willie Hernandez, 1984. Roger Clemens, 1986. Dennis Eckersley, 1992.
It is more than 11. Where did
Verlander, I guess some of them won a couple, but yeah. Verlander, 2011. Clayton Kershaw, 2014.
And then I don't know how many times they also won the Cy Young.
If you're winning the MVP, I would think you would.
Well, I would think so. Yeah, I would think so. So that's...
Well, the Cy Young Award wasn't established until 1956, so a lot of those pitchers couldn't have won both.
Yes. So, getting back to the question of Lavelle E. Neal, it was Lavelle who did it with Pedro Martinez, and he took a lot of grief for it like that. And
well-deserved.
So, Martinez did end up winning both, though, right? He just didn't get unanimous, or...
Well, he didn't win the MVP that year.
He did not win the MVP.
No, it cost him the MVP. I think he took second.
Yeah, okay. So there you go. And I don't know who won the MVP that year. Do we know? Do we have any indication? Who won the MVP the year Martinez did not, when many people felt obviously, a lot of people thought he should have won it.
Pudge Rodriguez.
Pudge.
Lavelle said he voted for Manny Ramirez.
Okay.
Yeah, Pedro finished second in the voting.
Okay. Got any numbers for Pudge? He was catcher, right? Was he Rangers?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, with me at the Hall of Fames, unless it's me getting into the PAVC, I don't care. That would be the only Hall of Fame that would matter if I got in. If I don't get in, it doesn't matter. It's a line from an old mafia-type movie. I don't remember the movie or what character said it, but he said, I'm not interested in things that don't concern me. You have a lot less...
The best now, too, is the advanced analytics and stuff would support that Pedro should have won it. He had the best WAR. He had a WAR of 9.8. Pudge was at 6.4.
Yeah.
But first place was Ivan Rodriguez, then Pedro Martinez, then Roberto Alomar, Manny Ramirez, Rafael Palmeiro, Derek Jeter. Don't see any twins anywhere near on this list.
So you know what? You have much less to pay attention to if you're only interested in things that concern you.
He was 23-4 that year.
I'm not interested in things that don't concern me. And then you don't have as much to think about, so it's kind of a good idea. As we go to break, let's do one of our giveaways, Tenneby. When I do it, the giveaway list. Here it is. Let's go. Let's start right at the top of the list. Minnesota Wild's Faith and Family Night is this Thursday. That would be tomorrow. They're taking on the Utah Hockey Club. We got your tickets. Ticket pack offer includes a pregame event with Minnesota Wild chaplain Billy Butters, Wild alumni Ryan Carter, and former golfer Jake Taylor, as well as a game ticket. Be caller 11 right now to win those pair of tickets. Call now, 1-800-320-5326. 1-800-320-5326. You'll be a winner from everybody at the Wild and all of us here at the Fan. And stick around. Mark Rosen joins us next here on The Grum.